Welcome back, Bills of the Red, to another Minecraft Bedrock tutorial. Now today, I'm going to be talking about probably one of the most crucial things any redstoner needs in their Minecraft toolkit, and that is item elevators. So here, I have the basic item elevator. You know, a comparator clock, it'll run and decay, but you know, if I'm to put any blocks in this dropper, well, it's going to make some noise, it's going to make some clicking sounds, and that's not what you're going to want. And also, if you haven't noticed, the basic designs are, well, they're not super compact, tileable, and again, they're not silent. They make a bunch of noise. So today, I am fixing that with this awesome machine behind me. And this is a one-wide tileable dropper elevator that is completely silent. Now, not only is this system very compact, one-wide, and tileable, but it will transport one item up this item elevator every 1.25 seconds. So that means every 5 seconds, 4 items will have made its way from the bottom all the way up to this top chest. Now, while this isn't the fastest you can get in the world, considering that it's silent, tileable, and one wide, and overall pretty small, it's probably just about as fast as you can get it. So yeah, it's a pretty basic build right in front of me, and there's really isn't too much to it. So anytime there are items in this bottom dropper, that is going to turn on this comparator, turn off this torch, allowing this one item to circulate in this tiny little clock here. Now, whenever this item here, whether it's stackable or non-stackable, it doesn't matter as long as you only have one of them. That item is going to transfer into this chest. The observer is going to see that. It's going to power this dropper, allowing the item to make its first way up the item elevator, and then taking the signal all the way around. It will not only power the dropper, but also power these 3 pistons. Now, these 3 pistons are in a distinct configuration using torches and piston magic, and what that is doing is it's turning a 2-tick pulse into a 1-tick pulse. Now, you can see very easily what I mean if I simply put a torch here and put an observer. You can see whenever I turn it on, the observer gets 1 pulse, and whenever I turn it off, the observer gets another pulse. But what these pistons down here do is to make sure that when it turns on, it gives a 1-tick pulse, but when it turns off, there is no pulse. And how that is happening is when this bottom piston gets powered, this bottom torch will turn off, allowing both these 2 pistons, torches on top of them, to turn on. Now, whenever this torch turns on, it's going to be 1 tick before it's going to activate the piston next to it, meaning that this torch right here on the top can actually turn on for a total of 1 tick, so you can see right there. And this 1 tick pulse is the amount of time that both this torch and this torch are off at the exact same time, which is 1 tick, which is super fast, which means that the observer is only going to get a 1 tick pulse. And well, from here, whenever the observer takes that 1 tick pulse from that one item, it will then distribute that one by one all the way up these droppers until the item elevates to the top chest. So I have 20 items, and just 1 tick, you can see the observer pulse. The item's going to go all the way up to the top, and then it's 21, and you can see that's silent, and no items are stuck in these droppers. And what's super nice about the system is just how compact it is. If you are starting at your bottom dropper, it goes 4 blocks down and 6 blocks in or deep, and this is where the bulk of the redstone is. And once you get to the 3rd dropper of the item elevator, the entire machine shrinks down to be only 4 long or 4 deep. And this simple system right here will repeat for as many times as you need in order for the item elevator to make it all the way up to your destination. Now, why do I need a one-wide tileable item elevator? And I just ask you, do you have a multi-item sorter? If you do, like this one I have behind me, I made a video on this one a while ago. It has these one-wide tileable item elevators, and well, you know, they're kind of crucial to making the entire system run. While these item elevators are not completely silent anymore, this new one is completely silent, and while slightly bigger, it makes a great addition to any sort of item sorter, or really anywhere you might need an item elevator. And if you need further evidence on why item elevators should always be tileable and, you know, compact for any of your needs, take for example, you have a farm that produces 2 items every second. So that would mean you need to elevate an item up every half a second. Well, this system transports 1 item every 1.25 seconds, so you know one of them is not going to be enough. So simply have 2 directly next to each other, and they will be silent, and of course, you know, work relatively fast and compact. And you know, a great build for any farm, sorter, or really any other build you have, this item elevator will work perfect for the cause. And the other bright side about this system is if you want to save a bit of resources, there's a couple things you can do. If you want to save a bit of obsidian, if you have only 1 of these, then I recommend having 2 obsidian. But if you have 2 or more of these, you can actually make it so you use a max of 3 obsidian by simply having all your pistons face the same direction and have 1 obsidian here. And you would simply do that on all 3 points where you have your pistons. And that would make it so you only need 3 obsidian for an infinite number of, well, item elevators, saving your resources so you work smarter and not harder. And that is really all there is to it. If you have any other questions or thoughts on this build or any others I make, let me know down in the comments, and in the description will be a world download and material list in case you need that. And also, if there's a red subscribe button down there, you might as well hit it. You will enjoy some of my future videos, I promise. Now, without further ado, let's get into the tutorial. So to make this entire build, I'm going to be centering around our beginning dropper. So this is wherever all our items are going to go in, and then elevate starting from this one point. So, you know, all future droppers are going to go up from here. So first, from this bottom dropper, you're going to come out 2 blocks, place a temporary block, and have an observer facing to the bottom, right underneath this dropper. You're going to break the temporary block, place a comparator right on top of the observer, and then a torch right on the other side. Next, we're going to take 1 hopper, and that hopper is going to go directly into a chest right here. And then right underneath this chest, we're going to have another hopper, and that hopper is going to be feeding directly into an upwards facing dropper. Then we're going to take another observer, come straight down, and then here you can either place 1 more observer, or if you want, you can place a hopper. It really doesn't matter, it's just up to preference. And then from here, you're simply going to come out 1 more observer, and then you'll have a solid block. Now, here's where you need to make the decision process, whether you're going to have 1 or multiple of these right next to each other. If you have 1, then we're going to need only 2 obsidian, but if you're going to have more than 1, well, then you can save a bit of obsidian and use only a total of 3 obsidian, like I mentioned earlier in the video. So if you are only going to have 1 of these, so you want to use 2 obsidian for this entire build, you're going to have your first obsidian all the way up here, so that's going to be from the observer going straight into the bottom dropper, and then we're going to have 1 more obsidian right here, so that's going to be 2 blocks away from this bottom block. Then from this bottom block, we'll have a piston facing forward, a torch right on top of that, we'll have another piston facing straight down from this torch, we'll have a torch on top of that piston as well, a piston facing sideways, so that's going to be using this obsidian over here, with a torch right on top of that one as well. Now, before we forget, we need to make sure we put 1 item into this hopper right here. It doesn't matter whether this is a stackable or non-stackable, as long as you have only 1 item in this hopper, it doesn't matter what type of item it is, the system will work no matter what. So next, we're going to take an observer output from this torch right here, so I'm going to come straight up, observer, another observer, then we're going to have a repeater here, and that's going to be going into a solid block. Then we're going to go up another observer, over another observer, and then here we'll have 1 more solid block, and just like that, you have finished this item elevator. Now, if you are going to elevate items up further, which most likely you will, you're simply going to repeat this same circuit for every 2 droppers you have. You're going to have a torch, repeater, block, then you're going to go up and have another observer right on top of this torch, and then an observer facing sideways with another solid block here, and then you simply repeat these 2 observers, torch, and repeater over and over again for as high as you need to go, and just like that, your item elevator is complete. And that is going to be it for this tutorial, guys. If you enjoyed, hit the like and subscribe button, it helps the video out a ton, but this has been Rock Builder, and I'll see you all in the next one.